All right, so welcome everyone. The webinar should now be being recorded. Does everyone see the recording down in the bottom of the screen? Yes, okay, great. Thank you so much. We're going to talk a little bit today about the orientation and some of the information that you might need to know as we move forward. We ask that you, if you do have any questions, we ask that you post them in the question and answer box. And at the end of the presentation today, we will work on answering those questions, time permitting. Any questions that we don't have time for, we will ask you to either email us directly or we'll take back that information and then send the answers to those questions out to all of you. So the first thing I'd like to do today is introduce you to our International Student Support Team and to the other representatives that we have here helping us out today in this webinar. So as you can see, the pictures of all of us are here on the screen. Michael Schmesley is our director. He can't be here at the moment, but he may join us later on this evening. And I'm Kelly. I'm the Associate Director of the International Student and Scholars Office. It's really nice to meet you all. Heidi, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Heidi Nam. I'm one of the International Student Advisors at the ISS office. My main focus, while I can help with general F1 advising questions, I mainly focus on work authorization questions and tax questions. So if you have any questions related to that, you can definitely direct it to me.
Thank you, Heidi. Jenny, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Shin. I'm the International Student Advisor. I was myself the international students. I'm from Korea. Nice meeting all of you, and welcome to the pre-arrival session. My main focus is to assist the students with all kinds of questions, especially for immigration questions, for F1 related questions. And besides F1 related questions, if you have anything else, you can still reach out to us. We'll be happy to assist you. Nice meeting you.
Thank you, Jenny. Lisa, did you want to introduce yourself next?
Sure. My name is Lisa. I'm also one of the International Student Advisor. Welcome, everybody. I can answer any general immigration questions, and one of my focus is a mentorship program called International Peer Mentor. If you are interested to be paired up with a mentor, you can feel free to email me. I'll provide my email address later. Again, I'm one of the International Student Advisor, and thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Jessie, would you like to introduce yourself next?
All right, I am Jessie from the Strategic Initiatives and International Recruitment Office. Probably been in contact with most of you already, hopefully, to get you that initial I-20 to come for fall. So now you can see me, and I hope to see you all soon in person.
Danielle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, my name is Danielle. I am the Medical Assistant Supervisor for the Student Health Services. So I will be providing information today on the insurance and insurance questions, and then also anything COVID vaccine related.
Deb, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am the Immunization Compliance Coordinator for Student Health Services, and welcome. I'll be answering any questions that are not COVID related that are related to immunization compliance that you may have this evening or this afternoon, wherever you are, in the morning. Thank you.
Welcome. So Emily and Ronicia, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Thank you, Kelly. Hi, my name is Emily McCoy. I'm with Housing Services. I'm the Contract Services Supervisor here, and I've been on campus for about 16 years, and I'll be talking to you today about housing services and what we have to offer.
Thank you, Emily. Ronisha, did you want to introduce yourself?
There it goes. Hello, everyone. My name is Ronicia Hodges. I am one of the senior contract services specialists in housing services. I've been here with the university for 7 years, and I'm just excited to be here as a resource and help.
All right, great. Well, thank you. And now that you've met all the panelists, we'll get started by telling you about our agenda for the day. Jenny?
Yes. All right. So these are the gonna discuss and inform you today. So first of all, about the ISS office. So ISS means International Students and Scholars. So ISS office, I-20 and visa process. We're gonna touch based on the immigration side and entering the US and current travel and travel guidance and restrictions. I'm sorry. And what kind of transportation options we can offer to you. And we're going to talk about the new student check-in process, which is very important, and some general orientation information and some important campus information and some reminders for you. For example, academic advising and admissions and housings. And then we're going to talk about health and immunizations, and we're going to cover your Q&A. All right, it's me again. So I'm gonna introduce you some of the programs that our office offer you guys. So we can talk about, first of all, can we go back? Yes, thank you. What kind of advising we do for the students? What can I see an advisor for? So you've just met virtually me, Lisa, and Heidi, Kelly. We all here for you for any questions you might have. First of all, any visa related questions or concerns and your personal advising and support, and some of your work authorizations and employment questions and travel requirements. So a lot of visa related work and travels are more for international students, kind of immigration sites. But besides that, we're also here for you. Any kind of questions, your personal questions and support you might need, we can assist you and guide you to the right department, or we do our best to assist you. Okay, so here are the programs that we provide for our international students. So Lisa is the advisor who runs the peer mentorship program. So maybe I can ask Lisa to kind of briefly explain what the peer mentorship programs is.
Sure. So our office has 2 different mentorship programs, one for undergrad and one for graduate students. The undergraduate students, that program is called International Peer Mentor Program, and the graduate program is called Peer Connect Group. So we hired volunteers who are domestic students on campus, and also international students who have been here more than 1 academic year. We pair them with you, new international students, for about 2 quarters and show you guys, assist you with any questions, show you around campus if it was in person, or they can answer any questions that related to academics, campus life, or even personal life. And you guys are required to attend 2 events at least per quarter, so that you are used to getting into joining events, campus events, workshops, learn more about school and career and academic. You won't be going alone. You will be partnering with your mentor to go to that event. And then you meet with that mentor once every other week for at least 30 minutes. During this pandemic time, everything is remote, so you will be meeting your mentor via Zoom and attending events also online. So if you're interested, again, I'm going to post my email address on the chat box. So you have it. Let me know if you're interested. And then I'll give you a internal application so we can know what's your major, who do you prefer to be paired up with, and what are your interests, so we can pair you to the most fitted mentor that matches your major.
All right, thank you, Lisa.
Mhm.
So next is language circles. This is also run by Lisa. This is the kind of free language services that we have, various types of different languages that we offer for you. So kind of you can teach your language to other international students, and you can learn also from others. So this is kind of good program that we've been doing it for years, and we've been liking it so much. So next is the cultural celebration. So when we have cultural events that we do it with the international students, for example, like Valentine's Days, that we open the event and then we invite you guys to celebrate together. Next is International Education Week, a week in some month that we, through this event, we collaborate with the other departments on the campus. So you will have the email notifications when we have this kind of events comes up. And our time is the support group for international women. So our time, I've been running this program with our international women students, and we offer a lot of good stuff. That was including chair massage and some good food and some, you know, little activities together on the campus. But since COVID-19, we haven't done this for in-person activities, but I'm hoping that we can go back soon. So our time, we've been sending out the emails for only for international women students. And once you receive those emails, you can check the Zoom link for the fall. We're gonna do it virtually for the fall, and then you can just join it. And town hall meetings. So when it comes to the important immigration updates or anything that we think is really helpful for international students to know, we open the town hall meetings, and all this kind of information you can get it through the UCR emails. And of course, we offer you orientation workshops.
All right, my turn. So I just want to go over it again quickly. The visa process, how to get your I-20. We did cover this in more detail in the previous pre-arrival webinar, so I'll try to go through this quickly. First thing, if you're an F1 student or you're planning on coming as an F1 student, make sure you have your I-20. That goes for initial students, F1 students that are already inside of the US that are transferring from another institution, and also students that started the program remotely last fall or last winter. So if you're entering the US for the first time on F1 status, you will need an I-20 that has that program start date for this fall quarter. So if you haven't applied yet, please check your emails. New students, you get the link sent to you from the admissions office. Remote students, I've been sending out the link a few times. I've been sending some emails since about February of this year for that update form to request that updated I-20. Remember to pay your CVIS fee. If you received your I-20 a long time ago, maybe you didn't pay at the time because you weren't sure when you would be able to get a visa appointment. Do make sure you pay that. If you get here and you haven't paid the CVIS fee, then we're not able to register your CVIS record as an active student until you've done that. Oh, where's my screen?
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. I'm
That's okay.
trying,
I'll look
trying-
over here.
I'm trying to make it full.
Okay, well, I'll keep talking for now. Again, scheduling your visa interview. I think a lot of you hopefully have done that already. A lot of you have your visas or have those appointments upcoming. I know that each embassy and consulate has different availability. Some of you may be scheduling an appointment and it's saying, you know, not until November or next March. So I would recommend keep checking for cancellations for visa appointments and also see if your embassy or consulate will permit you to get an expedited visa appointment. Some consulates aren't offering that, but you are within the period that you should be able to request that if it's available. But each consulate and embassy is reopening at different times, has different availability. So we can't really say, we can't guarantee when or if you'll be able to get a visa for this quarter. Okay? If you're already inside of the US, then you don't have to worry about any of this right now, which is awesome. Should I keep going?
Yeah, I'm bringing it back up. My apologies, everyone.
Okay. Just a reminder too, for the visa interview, some documents that you'd want to bring. You'd want to bring your admission letter, your I-20 obviously, or your DS 2019 if you're coming on J1 status. You'll want to bring those same financial documents that you submitted to receive the I-20, the receipt that you've paid the CVIS fee, your photo, and then depending on your embassy or consulate, they may request additional items from you. We'd also recommend if you are a student that started remotely in previous quarters that you bring a copy of your transcripts to show that you are an enrolled student. And just a reminder, hopefully you'll see on the screen soon, the current COVID guidance is still in effect from last fall. So if you are outside of the US and you are planning to enter the US for fall as your first quarter, you will need to be enrolled in at least one hybrid or in-person course to be eligible. So if you're coming to the US for F1 student status, you can't take all of your courses remotely. So please make sure that you're checking your schedule. If you are maybe need to make some arrangements to that, contact your academic advisor and make sure if you are enrolling in Highlander orientation or your graduate orientations later on, make sure that you have some sort of in-person or hybrid component as you're entering the US. All right, we got our screen back. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so we know that there's a lot of unknown yet. We don't know if everyone will be able to get a visa appointment on time. Hopefully travel restrictions will continue to improve and not worsen, but there's a lot of, oh boy, there's a lot of variability. And we also know that some students may not feel comfortable entering the US yet. So a common question that we're getting is, can I stay in my home country and study? Do I have to come to the US to UCR for fall quarter? Most of our instruction is in person. There are some remote options, there are some dual mode options, but this is largely dependent on each particular academic program. So in our capacity in ISS and immigration advising, we don't necessarily know if you have the options for remote and dual mode. So you will need to make sure that you're clarifying with your academic advisor to see what your options are for the courses that you need for your program. If you are able to take all of your courses online and you would like to continue remotely for fall quarter, that's totally fine. That's up to you, as long as you're not from a country where it is not permitted to take those online courses. So one example, it would affect our students from Iran. As a reminder, if you don't come to the US, you won't have F1 status for fall quarter. So that will affect maybe students that are graduating soon or have shorter programs. If you're looking to be eligible for employment, such as the CPT internship later on, or work authorization after you graduate, such as OPT, you do need to have 1 academic year in F1 status, so 3 quarters here with an active CVIS record. So again, if you don't come in the fall, for example, you wouldn't be eligible for an internship next summer. And if you have more questions about that, please contact the ISS office. And lastly, as a new student, you do need to enter in the beginning of the quarter. You can't enter in the middle of the quarter. There is a specific period of time where you need to be registered in CVIS. So if you're not able to come at the beginning of the quarter, or maybe within the first or second week, you would want to either defer your admission or start your quarter remotely and then come for the next available quarter. Next slide, please. If you cannot come for fall quarter, or you do not want to come, there's 2 options for you. If you would like to defer your admission, meaning that you don't want to study at all for fall quarter and you would rather defer your admission to winter quarter and start for winter quarter. Whoa. Please contact your academic department and graduate division if you're a graduate student. It's around the deadline, I think, for deferrals, so do contact them right away if that's something that you are considering. And once your deferral is processed in the system and you receive that new letter, they will let me know and I'll update your I-20 to winter quarter start date. And the same thing for if you are deferring your study, or sorry, if you are staying home and you want to defer your I-20 and come for winter quarter, I will be sending out a survey hopefully next week where you can let me know what your plan is and we can make sure your I-20 is updated correctly. And I did send out an email last week called International Student Updates for Fall 2021. It was sent out to the UCR email addresses. So please review the information in there. It is long, but it has a lot of information for you. Moving on to your entry to the US. So if you are an initial student, you'll probably be starting to enter the US within the next couple of weeks here. Documents to bring with you, obviously your passport, don't forget that, your valid F1 or J1 visa, I-20 or DS-2019 for J1 students, CVIS fee payment, a negative viral COVID test within 3 days of boarding your flight to the US. That's been a requirement since about January, I believe. Bringing your admission letter, your proof of financial support, again, we recommend, and then proof of course registration. If you are registered, as a new student, you're not required to show that you're registered yet. A lot of students will register after they arrive in orientation. But if you are registered or if you started remotely, do bring that in as proof that you are an enrolled student. Okay? And make sure these are with you in your carry-on luggage. Don't pack them in your suitcases. You will need them for when you land. Okay, some other recommendations, make sure that you're checking the earliest arrival date on your I-20. If you have an initial attendance I-20, there will be a date in there for fall quarter. It is August 14th. If you have a transfer pending I-20, that field will be blank on your, as I see the arrow there, that field will be blank on your I-20, meaning that you don't have that 30-day restriction. So make sure to check if you have that restriction before you're booking your flights. Again, just a reminder, please make sure that you've booked your flights with plenty of time in between. You never know what the line is going to be like for immigration, especially if you have multiple connecting flights or if you're transiting through multiple countries. Don't enter on a tourist visa. Tourist visa, that status is not eligible for study. So you will need to make sure that you're presenting your student visa with your I-20 or your DS-2019. double check travel restrictions. They're changing all the time. We're doing our best to keep you updated, but make sure you check again to see if there's any new requirements before you board your flight. If you're sent to secondary, don't panic, just have your documentation available. We have the ISS emergency phone number listed there if for some reason the border agents need to confirm your status or something with UCR. And then also they can review your social media. So make sure you don't have anything questionable on your social media, because your phone can be reviewed. Once you arrive, you will need to pull your I-94 record as part of the check-in. Double check that, make sure that you've entered correctly in the system. So it should say F1 or J1, depending on the status you entered on, should have your name spelled correctly. And we'll go into that a little bit more in the orientation sessions. All right, I think the next slide then is for Michael. I don't know if Kelly, you want to take over here?
Sure. Thanks, Jessie. So we are going to work with you, as we do know that there are delays with the embassy and visas. We'll let you enter, as late as October 15th, as long as it's approved by your academic department. And if you're a graduate student, also the UCR graduate division. We do have a general letter that's available on our website. You can see the link in the screen there, and if someone would be kind enough to post that link in the chat, that would be appreciated. But that is a letter that you can use to take with you to your visa interview, and you can also have it when you arrive at the US or in the port of entry. Students who are entering the US for the first term or quarter in F&J status, okay, you have to enter within the SEVIS registration window, meaning that many of you have an I-20 that will start on September 13th. So the SEVIS registration window is about 30 days. And so we have to be able to register you and say that you've arrived in the United States within 30 days. If you're unable to do that, we have to defer your start date to the next quarter. Next slide, please. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit now about current guidance and travel restrictions. Was this originally Michael as well? I believe so. So I know a lot of you are coming, from around the world, from different places, and there are different travel restrictions which get put in place from time to time. And on the screen, we do have a link to a website which you can review, which lists all the different travel restrictions which have been in place. For example, throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, there have been some countries who have been banned from entering directly from their home countries because the United States is one of them to go to another country and then enter the United States. So some of you who have been subject to that requirement, a lot of you from China, for example, and currently from India and some other parts of the world as well, are subject to that, but they have let you have a national interest exception to these bans. So previously, you would have had to travel, for example, from China to Singapore and then to the United States to enter the United States, because you would have to make sure that you were in Singapore for 14 days before you entered the United States. But now you're allowed to enter the United States directly from China or India, for example, as long as you enter after August 1st and in the 30-day period before your program begins here at UCR. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to email us at internationalstudents@ucr.edu. UCR also has a travel guidance website that we wanted to let you know about, and the link is posted there on the screen. So it's important for you to kind of look at that and look at those updates so that you're aware of the different travel guidance that UCR is giving the entire campus as well. We also want to make sure you all look at the CDC international travel guidance. We've listed a chart here to the right side, and the CDC has certain guidance for international travel and entering the United States. So keeping an eye on that screen and what the CD travel guidance is really important for all of you to do. And perhaps some members from our health services team can talk more about that later in the presentation. We also wanted to let you know that a lot of the vaccines are available at airports when you arrive. Los Angeles has a traveler form that they also would like you to complete when you come in to the LAX. And if you click on that link that's on the screen, if somebody can place that into the chat as well, you can see that information. So we wanted to make sure that you all knew about that. All right, next slide, please. Lisa, I'll turn this over to you.
So here are some of the transportation options from the airport. We have two international airports you can arrive from. The main one is Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. It is about 110 kilometers and 68 miles away from UCR campus. The transportation options from there, we suggest you either using Uber or Lyft or any sort of airport rideshare services at the airport. Or you can take the Metrolink, which is our train system here, and then you can get to Riverside, and then you probably need to take an Uber to your dorm or your apartment. Another transportation that LAX has is called LAX Flyaway Bus. That takes you to from the airport to the Union Station, which is located in downtown LA and Chinatown. It's a fairly cheaper, so I think it's about $10 per ride. And then from there, you can either transfer to Metrolink or you can take Uber from Union Station to UCR. The second airport that we have is called Ontario International Airport. It's a little bit closer, but not a lot of flights offered to be arrived over there. It's about 34 kilometers or 21 miles from campus. You can either take the Lyft or other rideshare services. However, we have a personal experience that they no longer allow Uber to be there. So only Lyft for this airport. When you're using Uber or Lyft app, make sure to download it on your device and connect your credit card or Apple payment. There's all the different options that you can pay for the ride through your app. Make sure you also have internet data in your phone before you arrive. And then download the app and then locate your destination through the app.
All right, so it's my turn. New student service check-in. So check-in is still mandatory for all new international students who have entered the United States. So this check-in process is mandatory and you don't have to do it unless you enter the United States. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of more explanation what the check-in process is. So check-in is when you enter the United States, you use your I-20 and that I-20 must be registered in your CVIS. So CVIS is the big kind of electronic storage. It runs by the government. So I go each of your CVIS record and activate your I-20 in the CVIS for each quarter, except the summer. Summer is a vacation at UCR. So in order to register you in the CVIS, the students needs to complete the check-in process. We also check how many units you are enrolled for each quarter. So if we see that you are enrolled above 12 units, then you are good. You'll be registered in service. But if I see any unauthorized part-time, which is under 12 units, that will be an issue. That you will need to talk to us. You will need to email us and contact us, and then we can talk about it. The CBIS registration periods for this fall quarter 2021 is from September 20 to October 20. So within this month, we have to complete this check-in process. So I recommend you, as soon as you arrive, you can do your check-in process. More detail of how to do that will be posted later, and then you will receive that to your UCR email account. So keep your eyes on your email, your UCR account, and then we'll go through this together.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to give you a little bit of update about our orientation that's coming up. I know many of you have all received emails from me, correct? If you have, just give me a yes in the chat box. And if you haven't and you need an orientation related email, please feel free to email us at internationalstudents@ucr.edu. So those of you who are undergraduate students, for orientation, you're required to come to an international student orientation, and currently you should be enrolled or registered for or have already taken Highlander orientation for freshmen. So how many of you have already been through your orientation for freshmen through Highlander orientation? Then give me a yes in the box. Okay, so a few of you have already attended. That's great. That's wonderful. For international student orientation, those of you who are in F or J status, or those of you who plan to be in F or J visa status, are required to attend. Those of you who are in other visa statuses are welcome to attend, but you do not have to if you do not want to, okay? For our undergraduate transfer students, you're also required to enroll in international student orientation and register for Highlander transfer orientation. So if you have not done yet, make sure that you do that. The links are posted on the screen and they've been sent out in the various emails and are also on our website. Those of you who are graduate students and EAP exchange students, you'll register for international student orientation. And the graduate students will also attend an orientation with the graduate division and their departmental orientations. And those of you who are EAP reciprocity students, if any of you here, please let me know in the chat box. We'll also be having an EAP reciprocity welcome session for all of you. All right, so orientation will take place. Could you go to the next slide, please? From September 13th to September 22nd, we'll have a variety of informational sessions that will be available online for all of you. And once those open up, we'll email you and let you know. And then we'll have a variety of optional interactive welcome sessions. And I know many of you have been sent the program already, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have tips for your career, for networking. You're going to meet other new students, and you're going to have opportunities to connect with each other as well. Next slide, please. We're going to talk a little bit about some remote operations and COVID updates. UCR is still operating remotely, but the campus is going to be opening up for the fall quarter. And that return to campus website is going to be very important for all of you to look at and review as we move forward. There's also a website that has updates on COVID-19. and campus operations. And we've also put a screen there, kind of a tag there where you can watch a student-led UCR campus tour. So I don't know if any of you have gone to see that yet, but it's really nice to go in there and kind of get an idea of the campus and where you're coming before you arrive and get here. We wanted to go over some general reminders. For academic advising, those of you who are graduate students should contact your specific departments to get assistance with course registration or any degree plan questions. And as I mentioned earlier, they may have their own orientation that they require you to go to. Those of you who are undergraduate students, those of you who've already attended Highlander orientation for new freshmen should have already been working with your academic advisors to get enrolled in your classes. And those of you who will attend future sessions will do so at that time. And those of you who are my EAP Reciprocity Exchange students, hopefully you've all connected with your academic advisor and they've assisted you in enrolling for coursework or letting you know what you need to do once you arrive. If you have not done so, please send me an email, okay? And then we'll talk about it. This is just a list of undergraduate advising contacts. It's here for your convenience. When you click on the different links, it'll take you to places where you can see how you can connect with your academic advisor. So at UCR, as we mentioned earlier, our office is your international student advisor. So we help you with anything and we'll refer you to different offices, but we don't help you with your academic scheduling. So that is an academic advisor in your specific department or college, which will help you with that as we move forward. Next slide, please. Jesse, did you want to take this one?
Yes. So as a reminder for some of the questions that you may have yet about transcripts, how to submit your transcripts, whether or not your transcripts have been processed, please reach out directly to the admissions offices. I know especially undergraduate admissions, they receive a lot of transcripts at the same time. It does take them some time to review those and to update that information in your portal. So please reach out to the admissions offices directly about transcript questions. If you have questions about which credits from other schools may transfer to your UCR program, questions about test scores, and then also if you are wondering if you can defer your admission to winter quarter. So just a reminder there.
Thank you, Jesse. I see someone has asked about access to the PowerPoint file, and just so you know, we will be sending it out to all of you sometime next week. Okay, Emily.
Hi, Kelly. Hi, everyone. I just want to say a little bit about housing. Not too many slides here, and we are also always available for your questions. I want to let you know that we still have a limited amount of housing options that are still available on campus. If you've already applied with us or put in your contract for the residence halls, that's fantastic. If you're on a wait list, you should be hearing from us soon. We are sending out contracts today. There are still some ladies here with me in the office that are sending out contracts right now because we're trying to work overtime to get this done for you so that you know where you're staying. So here is our contact info. Please give us some time to answer your questions that you send to our email address. It's housinginfo@ucr.edu. We are trying to answer your questions as quickly as we can. We will be reaching out to our international students to ask if you will be coming earlier than the arrival date, and I'll give you some information on the move-in dates and things also. So what you see in this picture here is a depiction of our residence hall. This is Aberdeen Inverness. We like to use a lot of acronyms here in housing, so we shorten everything. So this is AI. We have 4 residence halls: Aberdeen Inverness, Dundee, Lothian, and Pentland Hills. We will house more than 8,000 students in 11 different housing communities this coming fall. So we're very excited to have things kind of getting back to normal a little bit. Our residence halls are more similar than they are different. Pentland Hills is a suite style, where Aberdeen, Inverness, Lothian, and Dundee are all yeah, I'm going to stay on that slide for a while, Kelly. I'm just going to keep talking. Those are all traditional style halls where you can meet a lot of people and network. It's important that you go to our housing website at housing.ucr.edu. Here you'll find some of the 360 virtual tours that'll help you get a visual of what it's like here, since you can't be here to tour in person and we're not doing any in-person tours. Those 360 building tours that are available on the website will help you. There's also floor plans and layouts that are there that you can see. We are conveniently located to the classes, so we're not very far. We're about a 5 to 7 power walk if you're running kind of late, or 10 to 15 minutes if you're leisurely walking with your Starbucks in your hand. These rooms at the residence halls are furnished. You have a twin extra long bed, a desk, a chair, a microwave, and a mini fridge with high-speed internet available to you. We try to take care of all your meals, because this does come with a dining plan. You would be able to choose your dining plan and be able to eat in our residential restaurants and have dining dollars that are available to you to use at the dining venues. This year, our residence hall move-in day is on September 18th. We realize that orientation is on the 13th for the international students, and we can work with you if you need an early move-in date. Just send us an email at housinginfo@ucr.edu. We will get to you. We will try to coordinate with you when your flight times and when you're arriving just a little bit earlier for orientation. If you need to come early around that week of the 6th through the 10th, we can really work with you so that you have a place to stay here on campus, okay? So don't worry about that. If you have a contract with us, we're gonna work with you. Let's see. Residence hall move-in is on September 18th for Aberdeen, Inverness, and Dundee, and it'll be on the 19th for Pentland and Lothian. But like I said, we're more than willing to work with you as international students. We have 6 apartment communities that we are working on making the offers right now. We have over 2,800 students on the wait list. I want to be very transparent about our wait list. And a lot of you have already been calling, asking where you are. We are taking into consideration that you are international students and trying to make sure that we get to you. We have Bannockburn Village, Falkirk, Glenmore, North District, La Plaza, and Stonehaven. Like I said, on our website, you can see the layouts. You can also look at the amenities and whether or not these apartments are furnished or unfurnished, depending on your need. When you get an offer letter, it'll have links in the offer letter so you can review the rates and you can review the floor plans before you say yes. But it's very important to keep an eye on your email, so that way when you get your offer letter, you'll have 24 hours to sign and make your payment to let us know that yes, you are accepting that offer. If you have any problems or issues, please don't hesitate to email us or call us. We're a small team, but we're trying to answer those phone calls and get to you as quickly as we can. Make sure you review the dining website also. This year, any of our residents, either in the apartments or the residence halls, can all have a dining plan. So if it's more important to you that someone else is doing the cooking and the dishes, you can add that dining plan to your contract. The move-in day for apartments is September 17th. However, again, if you're living in an apartment, you need to let us know that you're coming early so that we can try to assist you. Even if you're living in North District and you have signed with them, you can come stay with us for a couple days, but we have arranged for North District to take their students early also. So they are accepting move-ins as of September 10th. So if you come earlier than that, you can stay with us for a few days and then transition over to North District if you need to, okay? Let's see. Family housing, we also have family housing, that wait list is over 400 students and we only have 136 units on campus, and our families do stay with us for a while, so that there's not much movement on the wait list. So if you need to look for off-campus housing, here is the website here. You do have to be a student to use this, but this is awfully helpful for you when looking for off-campus housing. Okay, I can go to the next slide, Kelly. Okay, we wanted to talk about a few things to consider when you're looking for housing here. You want to look at the type of housing. When you're looking and reviewing our website, I wanted to be sure that you knew that a double occupancy means there will be 2 people in a room inside the apartment. So if it's a 2-bedroom double, that means 2 people will be sharing the room inside the apartment. If it is a single, that means there will be 1 person in the room in the apartment. So if you have a 2-person single, you could have 2 people, 1 person per room in the apartment. So occupancy is very important to pay attention to when you get your offer. If you have questions, please call us or email us so we can help you with that question. Also look at the distance to campus. You want to be sure that you're close enough to get to your classes on time. If you're looking in the surrounding area, how far is it away from campus? Pay attention to that radius that you might want to stay closer to campus. When you're renting off campus, make sure you're reading that terms and conditions. You want to make sure you understand the rent. You want to make sure you understand what else you're going to be responsible for as far as water, trash, utilities, things like that, because you will have other things besides just the rent. If it's not all included, then your landlord is expecting you to pay for those items. Facilities and services provided. Will someone be cleaning here on campus? We have our facility service staff that is wonderful and takes care of the public and common spaces. This last year, they've been using CDC approved cleaners in all of our spaces, but you want to take a look at that and make sure when you are signing leases, you know what's included in that lease. So please read those terms and conditions carefully. And like I talked about, the furnished or unfurnished apartments, you want to know where you're renting. Are you going to need furniture? There are some places that are around that are renting furniture. We do have on our website a furniture rental company as well. And like I said, that contract is so important that you read through it before signing it. And if you have questions, you can always ask questions before signing something. Make sure that that landlord can explain to you what's going on, or should you not be able to come, what it may cost you or what penalties may be associated with that lease for canceling. So make sure your start date starts when you arrive, and you want your effective date, your end date, to go all the way through the end of the academic year at least. Or if you have the ability to renew that, you want to make sure that you ask that question also. Do you have the ability to renew this contract every year so that you can stay in place while you're studying? Please be aware of who you're renting with. We use our portal. It's there for you to use for off-campus housing. If you have questions about anything, you too can call us here at the housing office. If you're unsure about something or something doesn't feel right, call us and we can help you, okay? We're very glad to have each of you here. If you're considering living on campus, like I said, we're getting to our wait list. It's been a long wait, an unusually long time to wait for us to let you know if you have housing or not, but we are working diligently to get those offers out to you now. Okay.
Okay. Danielle and Deb, did you want to?
Yes, I think I'll go ahead and take the, sure.
Okay.
This is Deb. I'm going to take the first part and then Danielle, I think there's a COVID slide after this, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll take the first part. So we're with Student Health Services, and we do have a health services area on our campus. As you can see, there's a picture. That's what it looks like. So we do offer, and Danielle can speak more to what it is that we offer. I run the immunization mandate staff. I'm the coordinator. So I oversee the actual immunizations that are compliance that we have a policy for. So UC has made a policy that all students, regardless of their mode of education or their location, must be compliant with specific immunizations. So if you haven't visited our website, I would strongly recommend that you do that. You can see that we have a general email that is not for immunizations. That email that you're seeing on the top of the slide is for general questions for student health services. In general, it's usually, Danielle, tell me if I'm wrong, but for any questions regarding insurance or USHIP can be directed to that top email. For questions about immunizations, though, we're asking you to submit your questions through your patient portal. Your patient portal link can be found on our website. And our website is, you can see at the bottom of the slide, is studenthealth.ucr.edu. And through that, you can go ahead and get into your patient portal. When you're in your patient portal, you'll see messages, new message, and you choose immunization mandate staff. I know many of you have already put your questions in the questions, and I've just answered. Please, we need you to message us directly in your patient portal. Each one of you has a different history that we need to look at. So it's important for you to go ahead and upload all the documentation that you already have for your immunizations that are required, and before, so that we could take a look at it. So once we do message you, we can have whatever it is that you have already achieved as far as your immunization mandate staff requirements. So don't wait to upload. You do need to have all your requirements in by your first date of attendance. So for those incoming students, that would be your first date of attendance is, I believe, 9/23 for your fall quarter. So you do need to start working on those right away so that you can make sure, because we will, unfortunately, if you do not, we would have to put a hold on your registration, and we don't want to do that. So once you do send a message, we do have an extension, a temporary extension that we can give you. We need to work on each student's account. So if you do need extensions, you do need to send a message. We don't know that you need one unless you reach out to us and let us know what your circumstances are. I know many of you have already done that, and we already have taken care of many of the accounts for the international students so that you don't have to worry about holds for registration. Again, we can give temporary extensions so that once you get over here into the US, if you need some additional vaccines or some testing, we can do that. Understand, and Kelly, maybe you can help me with this. I believe their UC ship starts on September 1st. Is that correct, Kelly? For international students?
I believe for those of you, Danielle, you can correct me if I'm wrong, in F and J status, your insurance will start on September 13th.
Okay. So I know I had some questions about that, so I kind of wanted to address that, and students are saying, can I wait until that date so that I have the insurance and can come? Yeah, if you don't have any other options in your country, and then we're going to have to work with that, but understand that the requirement that only gives you 10 days once you get over here, because the requirement is actually due on 9/23. And so for those students, you're going to have to reach out, send us a message so that we can give you an extension while you work on getting compliant, so that you don't get a hold on your next semester's classes. And we're happy to do that for you, but you have to reach out, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and let Danielle speak to COVID and the insurance.
Thank you.
Danielle?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Okay, so again, you can find information on the health insurance on our student website. I did put that in the link in the chat. And you just go to the insurance tab. I'll give you a brief overview. Students are automatically enrolled into the UC SHIP insurance. If you have health insurance and you want to opt out of the UC SHIP, you just need to submit a waiver, and all of that information can be found on the website. There's a button that says submit a waiver, and it tells you how to do it. You will need to have your information of your current insurance policy to make sure that it aligns with the requirements for the health insurance. So if you do not waive out of the insurance, you will be charged for it. You can waive out either in fall quarter, which would opt you out of the insurance for the remaining academic year. Or if you keep it for fall and then decide, for winter or spring that you are switching insurances, you can waive out of it at that time as well. There's a waiver period for each quarter, and that is on the website as well. Another thing with the UC SHIP insurance is that if you are receiving services off of the UCR campus, you do want to make sure that you have a referral in the system. So you just want to see a physician or have a telephone or telehealth visit with a physician at the student health services so that we can put those referrals in for you and you can be seen off campus as well. At the student health services, we do have pretty much, we're a one-stop shop, so to speak. We have x-ray, we have lab, we have dental, we have a pharmacy, and then we do have the primary care services. So it's, it's pretty all-inclusive to what you would need there, but if you would need to see a specialist, we can, of course, refer you off to those specialists. And then there was a question in the chat, and it asked about what all is covered. So with the UC SHIP insurance, you do have medical, dental, vision, and pharmacy benefits. And so that is pretty much it for the health insurance part. We can go to the next slide because I know the COVID vaccine is a pretty hot topic right now. So the UCOP did release the COVID vaccine mandate. So the policy, the link is listed on the PowerPoint. I made sure that's the latest version. So the policy is saying that if you are enrolled at UCR, you need to be completely vaccinated. They are requesting that you upload your proof of vaccination by August 16th. Having said that, we do understand that our international students may not have access to the full series of the COVID vaccine, whether it be due to age, due to the country's limitations. So we are working with those students, with our international students, to make sure that they are receiving a temporary extension to be completely vaccinated. So you can either do one of two things. You can send a message to the immunization mandate staff through the patient portal, and just in the subject of the message, you can just put international student COVID-19 vaccine. And that way that alerts us that you do need assistance with getting the extension for the August 16th date. If you have any questions though about the vaccine policy, you want to send an email to the COVID-19 mandate or COVID-19 management staff. All of that information can be found on the website for the COVID vaccine, which is the studenthealth.ucr.edu. And then /COVID-19. That will take you to our Student Health Services COVID landing page. And when you get there, it'll have the policy there for you to review as well, but it also goes over if you need a medical exemption, if you need a religious exception or disability exception, or even a pregnancy deferment for the policy that is in effect. So that COVID vaccine page is going to be your one-stop for everything related to the mandate and the policy. So make sure you visit there. There is also the email address for the COVID management team, which is covid19@medsch.ucr.edu. And I know that there were some questions about mixing the vaccine. If you were able to get one dose in your country, say of AstraZeneca, but you're not able to get the second dose before you leave, is it okay to get a dose of either Pfizer, Moderna here in the States? And I did confirm with our chief medical officer that yes, it is okay to do that. It's preferred to get two of the same, but if you are not able to, due to, again, limitations or timing, we would approve that you get either the Pfizer or the Moderna, so that way you can complete your vaccination series. Okay, and that's, I think I touched all the bases there.
Any questions? Or, well, I guess we're doing questions and answers in the question and answer box.
We're just so used to saying that at the end, Deb. That's all, every
We are.
orientation. It's just automatic now.
Sorry. I do love the way that you guys do this though, in the question answer, Kelly. This is great.
All right. So Heidi, did you want to coordinate the question and answer box?
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
So just a warning, my internet is not that great. So if you don't hear from me for a little bit, I'll come back. But there were quite a few questions in the Q&A box. Let's first start with the first one from Yitong. I have two questions. I submitted my immunization document, but not all requirements are satisfied. Does this mean I go to the Student Health Center for the rest of the results or for the rest of the tests? The second question is that for on-campus housing, can I have an option to do an early move-in? If yes, how can I know what is the earliest move-in date? Thank you.
So I can take the first part of that question. Let me get back up to it because that was lengthy. Let's see. I submitted my immunization document. Not all requirements are satisfied. Does this mean I have to go to the Student Health Center for the rest of the test? Yes and no. You do not have to have you do have to have all your immunizations become compliant. So if you entered all of your documentation and your student health portal is telling you that you are non-compliant in certain immunization areas or requirements, then you need to, yes, however it is, if you're missing an MMR vaccine, then you do need to make some kind of arrangement to make sure you meet that requirement. We do offer all services for immunization compliance at the Student Health Center. So if you have UC SHIP and it's active, I don't know if you're here, the question doesn't state if you're here or not. If you're here in the US and you already have UC SHIP and it's active, then yes, you can make an appointment at Student Health Services for whatever your missing immunization are. Let's see. They also offer most of the immunizations at local pharmacies as well. So if you're here in the US and you are, or even if you just arrive, you can, if you cannot get into the Student Health Services in a timely manner to meet your deadline, you can also receive most of the vaccines at the local pharmacies as well. So you can do that. I hope that answers your question.
There was a second part of that question about housing and early move-ins. If you need to move in the week before orientation, we can do an early move-in for that week of the 6th if you need to come early. Like I said, just send us an email at housinginfo@ucr.edu so that way we know when to expect you.
All right, thank you for answering that question. Okay, so the next question is also about immunization. It says, hi, dear office, I am a graduate student that will attend UCR for the upcoming fall quarter. Is that mandatory to upload all immunization record by August 16th?
So I'll answer the first part of this, but the answer is no, and we're trying not to confuse the students because there are two policies. There's an immunization mandate policy that went into effect back in 2016. And that's a requirement for your MMR, varicella, meningococcal, your TB testing if necessary, needed, and your TB questions. So that is a separate policy. That policy actually for incoming students for fall, your last date that you should have your immunization compliance completed would be actually September 23rd for those vaccines. For the COVID vaccine, the UC policy for UCR campus has stated that just for COVID, the requirement is for August 16th. So I hope that answers it and clarifies. There's two different policies. There's two different deadline dates. And we do have that outlined on our studenthealth.ucr.edu website.
All right. Would you be able to enter that that website address in the chat box? I didn't quite catch that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, so is regarding the mentorship program. I believe this should be for Lisa. It says, I have filled out the form of mentorship program, but I didn't get any response. Do I need to write an email too? When should I expect to have a one-on-one with the mentor? Thank you.
I believe you fill out the old application. I haven't released any new applications to new students yet, so it'll be best to email me so I could send you to the direct link. As for when to meet your mentor, it's going to be either first week 1 or week 2 of the quarter.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so the next one is regarding visas. It says, I already had the visa interview and the visa is still pending. funding. The average time for this process is more than 2 months. It should be finished in early September or after. I wonder when the deadline for arriving to UCR is. Can anyone take this question?
Hi.
Oh, you got it, Kelly.
Go,
Okay.
go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Jess. Oh, okay. So Jesse and I will answer this question kind of together, right? I think you have to arrive at UCR. We talked about it earlier. For our office, by at least, I believe the date was October 15th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse. Yes, but in addition to consulting with us, you also have to connect with your academic department if you're an undergraduate student, and if you're a graduate student, your academic department and the graduate division, to make sure it's okay for you to enroll by that time. Do you have anything to
Oh, I think you're cutting out, but no, I think that is correct. That is the deadline, and then also not only talking to your department about the deadline for arrival, but also if you can't arrive, talking with them about your options, if you could still defer your admission, or if you could somehow start your program remotely.
Thanks, Jesse.
All right, thank you for answering that. The next question, I believe it was answered. If you want to look at your question, because it was the body of the question and then the question after in a different entry. So if you would like to look at the answer, Dan, please look at the answered section. So I'm going to go ahead and click that we completed that question. So this one is also related to visas. It says, good afternoon. If my visa has been checked for more than 1 month, may I contact the ISS office to help me speed up this process? I'm not sure if I understand what it means by checked. Does anyone have an idea on what this means? If not, if you can add more information in the box, or if you would like, you can set up an appointment to meet with one of us, the ISS advisors. We can definitely help you answer this question, okay?
Michael, did you want to?
I was just going to say, perhaps the question means if I'm stuck in administrative processing,
I see.
in a delay in getting my visa, yes, you can always contact us. There's not much we can do to help you, because when you're put into administrative processing, it's an agreement between a Department of State, who runs the embassies, and Department of Homeland Security, who set kind of criteria which triggers this administrative processing or security background check. So it will run its course. You certainly should let us know, because if you're having a delay, that may affect your arrival, and we would want to advise you how that may impact on that. You can certainly talk to us if there's an extended delay, but there's not really a whole lot that can be done to speed that up.
All right, thank you, Michael, for answering that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the next question is regarding Canadian international students. It says, I am a Canadian who will be studying at UCR. Are there different requirements for me? Would anyone like to answer this question?
Sure, I can take that. If you are a Canadian and you plan on entering in F1 student status, then you do need to have an I-20 to enter the US, but you will not need to get an F1 visa in your passport. So simply presenting that F1 I-20 at the border will allow you to enter in F1 student status.
All right, thank you, Jesse. All right, so this next one is regarding employment. And it says, if you are a fellowship holder with a teaching assistantship or graduate student researcher, are you allowed to pick up any other job within the campus? So this sounds like it's on-campus employment question. So you will need to keep an eye on how many working hours you are doing during the academic term. We do have an employment and tax page, and I'll definitely enter that in the chat box or in that answer section. Yeah, so during the academic term, you are limited to part-time working hours, which is less than 20 hours per week. And so if you're in a position, if you have a different working position on campus and you want to pick up another job, you just want to keep in mind, you know, you don't want to go over that limit. Okay, but if you would like to learn more information about this, we will be holding many F1 employment options workshops throughout the quarter. So you can check our website for any upcoming workshops, or we will be sending out reminder emails through our International Weekly newsletter once the quarter begins. All right, so the next question is regarding financial proof. It says, I have the letter of financial proof issued from a bank slightly over 3 months ago for the I-20. Is there any limit on how many days prior the financial proof has to be issued from the day of the visa interview for visa interviews at consular office?
I can take this. There's no specific date range for that. So typically you want to provide recent financial documents, and then we would recommend to provide documents that match what's on your I-20. So they are aware at some of these appointments that students have been waiting for their visa interviews for a long time. So as long as the funding is matching what's listed in your I-20 and the school has accepted it and put it on your I-20, then I don't believe it would be an issue.
All right, thank you. So the next one is regarding a graduate academic assistant. How can I connect with a graduate academic assistant? Would anyone like to take this one?
I'm not sure what you mean by academic assistant. Are you talking with about somebody in your department who needs to, who you need to connect with to get assistance for like registration? A lot of times there is a graduate program coordinator in your department. If you don't know who that person is, you can email us at internationalstudents@ucr.edu with your name and let us know what department you're in, and we can let you know who your graduate student contact would be in your department.
All right, thank you. Okay, so the next question, it looks like it's regarding insurance. I have a fellowship admission for PhD, which also covers health insurance. I got an email regarding submitting my waiver prior to your school's waiver deadline. Should I take any action or disregard this email?
I think I can maybe try and answer this one. If you have a fellowship for PhD and health insurance is covered, then that means they would cover your UCR health insurance. So there would be no need for you to submit a waiver of UCR's health insurance. At least that is my understanding. I would recommend that you go back and look at your offer of admission and what's included. And if you have questions about that, please contact the graduate division and they'll be able to clarify any questions that you have about your package. But if insurance is included, that typically means that the cost for the UCR insurance will be included with your package.
All right, great. Okay, so the next one sounds like it's about check-in process. It says, will my presence in the online orientation session confirm my admission? Would you like to take this question?
Your admission to UCR would be confirmed by the graduate division or the undergraduate admissions office, I believe. Your presence at orientation doesn't confirm your admissions to UCR, but if you do come to the orientation process and you follow that check-in process that Jenny was talking about earlier, then you're admitted, you get into the country, you come to UCR, and you check in with us, then we can activate your I-20 or DS 2019 record in that electronic system that Jenny was talking about earlier.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so the next question is, my daughter is 4 years old, so I'll look for a preschool upon her arrival in the United States. Is there any kind of elementary school at UC Riverside?
So there's not an elementary school at UC Riverside. There is a child development center, which can host preschool students, and they even have a kindergarten class there as well. There is a waiting list, however. I'll see if I can put the link in the chat for you after I finish answering this question. But there's also other types of elementary schools in Riverside that you can, have your children attend if you're bringing them with you as well. Please feel free to email me directly if you want more information about that, and I can also connect you with individuals in the community who may be able to assist. My email is kelly.hinosawa@ucr.edu.
All right. So the next question was regarding a I cannot pronounce that. It's regarding a vaccine, but it looks like someone is answering that question.
Yes.
Did you want to answer that live or just type in the question?
I'm actually halfway doing it. It's very specific, so I'm going to have the student actually message, but I will. Yeah, the meningococcal, actually, I'll do it both. Meningococcal vaccine is required for all students who are the age 21 and under that's attending the UC. It also has to be given on or after the age 16 through 21. And again, it's to protect against the meningococcal. It is the ACYW-135 series. We do require that. So it is an actual vaccine that you need to get from either a pharmacy or your provider to meet requirement. If you have any questions, additional questions, I'm going to go ahead and type in again you're going to go on your patient portal underneath messages, new message, immunization mandate staff, so that we can actually address it individually if you need additional information.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so the next question says, hello, I will be attending UCR in fall 2021. I am from India. Where I live, I was able to take TB quantiferon test, but not the TB T-spot, as it is not available. Is it mandatory to take both, as it was told to me by the labs that both give me the same results? Would anyone like to answer this question?
Deb, I think that I don't know much about the TB. I believe the quantiferon would be acceptable, but I will defer to you.
Yes, let me see. Hello, I've been checking quantiferon test, but on TB spot as it is not available. So Actually, it's just one or the other, not both. Actually, so you can take either the TB skin test or the PPD test or the TB quantiferin, either one, but not both. And we don't need both the T-spot and the quantiferin. It's just one or the other. So as long as they come out as in a negative result, that would all that you would need to upload. We do need the actual laboratory result so that we could take a look at the quantiferin test. And again, it needs to be positive. So no, you do not need to take both, just one or the other, and it needs to be negative.
All right, thank you very much. I'm learning a lot from this today as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the next question, and it does look like Kelly is answering it already. So Kelly, would you like me to move on to the next question? Or would you like me
Sure.
to?
I'm going to put some links in this question and answer box for you guys to look at. Just so you know, once you enroll for classes, there is a little bit of leeway for international students to pay the fee, but you can view the deadlines and everything right there on the screen. And I just wanted to let you all know that there is a 3-part payment plan that you can sign up for. And the details of that will be in the link that I'm going to send out.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so let's take a look at the next question. As international students, we must be registered for at least one in-person course to enter the United States. How do you solve this issue if we cannot register until our orientation day?
Well, I think I'm assuming that you're an undergraduate student, and over 80% of the classes are going to be in person. So I don't think that you're going to have a problem enrolling in one in-person course after you enter the United States. There still should be in-person courses available for you once you attend your orientation program if you're an undergraduate student. Those of you who are graduate students, again, will work directly with your academic departments to get enrolled for your classes. And those of you who are EAP reciprocity exchange students should be connecting with your academic advisors already to get enrolled. And please contact me if you haven't been able to do that yet.
Okay. All right, so the next question is, will my absence from the previous meetings affect my admission in autumn? I'm not sure if this means the previous sessions we had. So yeah, I think we need additional information regarding this. If it's related to admission, you should maybe speak with the admission team if you've confirmed your admission to UCR. So yeah, if you could clarify what you mean by previous meetings, that would be helpful. All right, so the next question, I am confirmed for late arrival by October 15th. My expedited visa appointment is on the 8th of October. My advisor has advised me to explain my plan for making up the program. However, I am from Iran. Could I attend the program online for those 2 weeks? If not, could you please advise, and what should be my plan? Would anyone like to take this one?
Michael, did you want to take this one? Oh, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I was a little bit distracted with something else right now.
Okay.
What's the question?
That's okay.
I can repeat it. says, I am confirmed for late arrival by October 15th. My expedited visa appointment is on the 8th of October. My advisor has advised me to explain my plan for making up the 2 weeks of missing the program. However, I am from Iran. Could I attend the program online for those 2 weeks? If not, could you please advise what my plan should be?
Yeah, that's a complicated question. The problem is that the university will not allow any individual who is physically located in Iran to take online courses from UCR. So that's a problem. So it really depends on where you are. If you're not in Iran or one of the other countries that are forbidden for UCR to allow online classes, then you could, as long as you work in cooperation with your advisor to make sure that that's okay. But if you will be physically in Iran, that would not be an option.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so moving on to the next question. 2 available financial awards made to me in my offer letter. Where should I contact? Do I need to take any action for this at all, or should I automatically be notified through email? So it sounds like this student had financial awards offered in the admission letter. The student is wondering who he or she should contact, or if there's any action that needs to be taken.
Again, with regards to the financial awards, I would refer you back to the graduate division. Okay, and you need to clarify with them what steps that you need to take.
All right, thank you. All right, so the next one is the same student from before. It says, I will get to UCR after October 8th, since in this date I'm going to get my expedited visa appointment. Regarding the deadlines you mentioned, how should I deal with health and immunization requirements?
I can speak to the immunization requirements. Kassar, you should send a secure message to the immunization mandate team in your health portal, your patient portal. You can find that link on our website, studenthealth.ucr.edu, and you would just use your UCR Net ID to log in. So you go to messages, new message, immunization mandate staff, so that we can help you negotiate with the temporary extensions that we can offer to you so that you don't experience registration holds.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we have about 6 more questions. And so we'll answer these questions and close out our event today. And if there's any additional questions, we can definitely answer that if you email us through the general email, which I will tell you after. Okay, so the next question is, what's the procedure to apply for on-campus jobs? I'm an incoming graduate student. Will I be able to apply for greater graduate assistant TA positions before the start of this fall quarter? So the procedure to apply for on-campus jobs, you can definitely look through the Handshake job platform. You can look at, what that platform is. I could enter that into the look for any available on-campus positions. Can everyone still hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then for any kind of TA positions, you could definitely check with your department, to see what is available. Yeah, and then for any additional assistance using the Handshake platform, you can definitely contact the career services. So after I ask the next question, I can definitely type in the Handshake platform in the chat box. Okay. All right, so the next question is, if my application is ever revoked, how do I know?
I can try and take this one. I think they are referring to if the admission is revoked. So this does happen sometimes with our undergraduate students. When you submitted that, sir, you certified that you understood that you needed to meet the conditions of admission. So getting a certain GPA or certain grades in your last quarter, in your courses that continued between the time of your application and before you'll start at UCR. So if you don't meet some of those requirements, then your admission can be rescinded. If you feel like you may be close to not meeting some of those requirements, you can always reach out to the admissions office to check with them. If your admissions is rescinded, then you will receive an email notification from the admissions office.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so the next question is, when do the international graduate students have to pay tuition fees and other fees as required by UCR? How much time do we get to pay the fees once, I believe, admitted?
Well, once you're admitted and then you enroll in your classes, there will be, deadlines that you will be sent by Student Business Services. I'm assuming that everybody here is already admitted to UCR. And then you would look at that Student Business Services website to look at the different payments that they have available. They have a wide variety of payment options for you to be able to pay your fees. And so the deadlines are all listed on those links that I sent out earlier. I'll also post them in the chat as well for you.
All right, thank you very much. I think the next question was already answered by Kelly with this question. All right, so I do see Jenny is typing an answer for the next question. We'll go ahead and close out our session with these last two questions and then end our session for today. All right, so the next question is, when does the deferred payment plan application open for fall? At the moment, on my CashNet account, there is no DPP available.
That's a good question. I am going to post the email for Student Business Services and the chat link so that you're able to contact them for the answer. Have you enrolled for classes yet? If you haven't enrolled for classes, then it's probably not available to you yet.
All right, it looks like Jesse has added the website, and then Kelly
The
added
link.
the link, and then you added the email address. So great. All right, so as I mentioned before, if you have any additional questions, very specific to your situation, please don't hesitate to contact us cr.edu. We also have the email addresses for all the advisors, as well as Michael and Kelly, as well as Jesse. So yeah, thank you very much. And I'll hand this over to Kelly or Michael.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Schmelsley, and I'm the Director of International Student Scholars, and I want to thank the team for being here this evening. I'm afraid that there was a situation that came up, and I was a little bit delayed in joining you today, but I'm really sorry.